What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Ariana, and today we're going to be talking about something that, in my opinion, should be talked about a little bit more openly, and that is night sweats. Now, if that caused a little bit of a shiver up and down your spine, you probably get night sweats or know somebody who has them, and for that, I am sorry. But the good news is you are not alone. According to the AAFP, over 41% of people that they see in an office setting are dealing with night sweats. That's 41%, that's crazy. And because of that, we do know enough to know that night sweats are a problem that is not easy, but is often simple to resolve and treat. And so because of that, we do have some ways to help it along, or to help it go away. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about those ways. But first, let's talk about where night sweats come from. Now, there is no one reason for night sweats. There are reasons that are more prevalent than others, but it can come from a number of places. The most popular and most well-known reason is perimenopause, menopause, and hormonal changes in those who have estrogen and progesterone. And that is for a good reason. Estrogen is often in there causing all kinds of mischief, especially when it is fluctuating wildly up and down, up and down. Generally, what that tends to do is mess with the hypothalamus, which is the part of the brain that affects temperature control in the body. And what it does is it makes you really dysregulated and super sensitive to environmental changes and to temperature changes. But we have other hormones racing throughout our bodies, regardless of gender or sex, that can make a difference. Cortisol is one that we all know pretty well, and we know that as the stress hormone, which actually is necessary in certain levels. But if you are a person with chronic stress or anxiety, your cortisol levels could be too high when you go to bed. And because of that, you could find that you sweat as you sleep. There are a number of other reasons why you could have night sweats. That could include low blood sugar, like I said, anxiety, thyroid issues. So if none of the ideas in this video actually seem to help you, or if you just want to start on your journey better educated, make sure that you speak with your health professional to help you figure out what's going on so that you can make sure you make the best decisions for you. And with that, let's go ahead and go into the changes that you could try making that will help your night sweats dry up. The first option isn't fun, but it can actually be very effective, and that is to avoid foods that affect body temperature. Those foods usually will be anything that includes caffeine, alcohol, or that is spicy. Now, most of the time when I bring this up, most people are not confused about alcohol or spicy foods. Alcohol is a vasodilator, which means that it tends to make your vessels get wider, which allows for more blood to rush to the surface, which makes you feel hot. Spicy foods are spicy, right? They're hot. They tend to have this compound in it called capsaicin, which makes it so that you just feel hot and can actually stoke more sweating. But caffeine, a lot of people are like, really? My little cup of black tea before bed could be causing my night sweats? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. Caffeine, quite famously, raises heart rate and increases metabolism, both things that use up a lot more energy in the body. And because that energy could be used while you're trying to sleep, will actually also increase the amount of sweat you give off while you're sleeping. And already, if you have other underlying reasons, this stuff will make it even worse. So you want to make sure that you are not having any of these things too close to bedtime. And when we're talking about too close to bedtime, in caffeine's case, you do not want to drink anything with caffeine within less than 10 hours from bedtime. Caffeine can stand in your system for about 10 hours, so maybe skip that 12 p.m. latte. Also adjacent to this, but not the same thing, try to avoid eating heavy meals, especially meaty or fatty meals, right before bed. If you are hungry, keep it easy to digest and light, and that way your body does not have to put forth so much energy to digest, and you do have less of a chance of sweating. Next up is to make sure that you support your bodily functions. And by that, I mean that your body is actually cycling through many different types of hormones throughout the day, including the wakeful hormones like serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, and histamine. And if you are not doing whatever you can to make sure that your body can regulate that easily, that will lead to other issues, other hormonal imbalances that can result in night sweats. So a really, really good way to do this, I know you're probably tired of hearing it, I know I am, but exercise makes a huge, huge difference. Moving regularly tends to help your body not only manage your nervous system, but also manage the hormones that your body needs to be rotating through and working through every single day. Now, if it's helpful, a lot of studies have found that you don't have to go straight to pumping iron for 2 hours every day. 20 minutes a day for 3 times a week, so really only 20 minutes a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, would be sufficient to start out. And usually once you get used to that, you can take on more, but you don't have to do it 7 days a week for 2 to 3 hours at a time. Just make sure that you're getting regular movement, and you will start to feel more in control as your body becomes more in control of your hormones. Your body also does not just automatically go from awake to asleep very easily. Even if you are a person who falls asleep within 5 seconds, the moment your head hits the pillow, your body still needs something to delineate between wake up time and sleeping. And the best way to do that is to wind down at night. It doesn't really matter exactly how you do it, as long as whatever you do is restful and signals to your body physically that it is time to calm yourself down. That can be changing into pajamas at a certain time of night, dimming the lights in the room that you're sleeping in, playing certain kinds of soft, soothing music, journaling, drinking an herbal tea without caffeine, reading a restful book. Anything like that that tells your body now is the time to rest is going to help your system manage the hormones that are necessary for sleep, like melatonin. And it will also help to lower that cortisol level to where it needs to be. You also can try lowering your body temperature a little bit before you climb into bed. And generally you can do that by taking a cool, not cold, shower directly after having a warm, not hot one. When you are doing these things, the only other thing that I would caution you on is timing. You want to make sure that you are not working out or taking cold showers close to bedtime, because both of those will release endorphins and actually may wake you up. But otherwise, all of these are really good ways to help your body feel ready to rest and will all but eliminate anxiety as a possible factor for your night sweats. And then, of course, there is the importance of your sleep environment. If where you're sleeping is hot or noisy or anything of that nature, it's generally going to be really, really hard to fall asleep. And especially that heat, that lack of airflow, that bad temperature is going to keep you sweating all night long. So you want to make sure that your sleep environment is cool enough, and that generally is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, that it is dark enough. Usually you can do that with blackout curtains. And also the airflow is not impeded. You know, one thing that's very interesting that a lot of people tend to overlook is how easily air can flow through your sleep space. If you have a very cluttered sleep space and there isn't a lot of space for the air to flow through your room, that can also make a room quite hot and trap the wrong kind of air. So not that I'm trying to push you around, but maybe it might be worth it to move that laundry pile to a different chair. This also goes for your bedding and your sheets. If your bedding and sheets are made out of polyester or any sort of synthetic fabric, those are generally not made for airflow at all. And that means that a lot of your body heat will get trapped where you're sleeping. So you definitely want to try for sheets that are made of natural fibers like bamboo, linen, cotton, things like that. And you also want to avoid sleeping under too heavy of a quilt or a comforter. those types of things will also trap you within your body heat and eventually trap you within your own puddle of sweat. Now, obviously, sheets won't do it all, and neither will room airflow, especially if your problem is something that is tied to hormones or something underlying. You could have all the cool sheets you want, that's still not going to fix the problem. And what happens in the winter when you really are feeling kind of chilly and you would like to have a blanket on you? You don't want to be running into this issue where as your body temperature changes, as your sleep phase changes, you're suddenly sweating and you have to toss it off and then you're freezing. I'm preaching to the choir. How are you going to fix that? There is an option. We do live in a wonderful, wonderful time where there are technological options that are science-backed, like smart cooling beds and mattress toppers. Now, there are tons of options out there. You could Google and check all of them. I highly suggest looking into these. You're going to get different levels of support and different levels of cooling and heating. Some are only going to cool you down. Some are actually going to do the work to automatically cool and heat and change. And some are made for couples so that if you are with somebody who is not night sweating, they don't have to deal with being cold while you are cooling down on your end. It will adjust for the individual. There are expensive options, there are cheaper options, there are options that work with apps. You have a number of options out there to pick. If you need a good place to start, our personal favorite here is the 8 Sleep Pod, and they have different options. You'll be able to check on their website for the most current iteration. I believe they're on the Ultra 5 right now. But the 8 Sleep Pod takes a lot of the guesswork out of your temperature regulation issues. It is a mattress cover and you run it through an app. And what happens is the pod keeps track of your temperature throughout the night. We naturally become warmer and cooler as we sleep. And so what the 8 Sleep Pod does is it keeps track of how your temperature tends to go up and down, how it tends to fluctuate, and it adjusts accordingly in real time. And it doesn't just go according to your body temperature, it also goes according to your heart rate, to environmental changes. It just tends to kind of take everything into account to figure out the best temperature for you. And if you're in a couple, there is dual zone control. So you could be getting cooler while your partner is getting warmer and neither one of you is the wiser. You can even have it so that it kind of helps you wake up by slowly warming you, but not to sweat levels. And this one in particular has pretty great social proof, which is why we love it so much. A little more than 1 in 4 people mentioned that they had fewer wake-ups at night, and a little more than 1 in 3 mentioned that they stayed asleep and had deeper sleep than without 8 Sleep. And that's fantastic because, again, going back to those hormones, going back to that cortisol, if your body is able to manage the correct hormones while you're sleeping, you stay asleep and get to have deeper, more restorative sleep. So, a technological option is especially amazing for you if you know that just lifestyle changes aren't going to cut it, and a technological option is also an amazing advantage for us to have these days. So definitely look into that as well. Which brings me to a very important point. If you are watching this and you are thinking that you are going to have to try exercise, and then you're going to have to try changing your nighttime routine, and then you're going to have to try adjusting airflow, and you're wondering, how long am I going to have to put up with night sweats before I find the answer? The truth is, your answer is probably going to be more than one of these things. So feel comfortable with comparing and contrasting more than one thing at a time. Combine your options, try different things, and make sure that you are approaching this with curiosity rather than judgment. That's the quickest way that you are going to be able to come to the answer you need. And again, please, 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 more than anything, we want you to stay healthy. We want your body to get the best answer for it possible. So please do not count out speaking with a health professional if you need to. I know I already mentioned this, but I'm mentioning it again. And if you go to them, make sure that you bring to them a good tracking system. Make sure that you are tracking what days you're sweating, what the environment was like that day, any other triggers you think might be playing into it. And if you're kind of concerned about keeping all of that yourself, some of those technological options that I mentioned will also help you track. That 8 Sleep pod that I mentioned, another part of the reason that we love it here is because it does help track a bunch of other health issues on their elite package deal. So if you choose the elite plan, you're able to also point out, hey, here is where my heart rate got abnormal, or here's where my breathing rate was a little strange. You'll be able to also share those things with your health professional in order to make sure that you are keeping track of the important things that might point out any other issues you might be having. So those are the ideas that we have for how you might be able to stop those night sweats, how you might be able to start sleeping much more comfortably, much more soundly, and hopefully something in here helped you. If you have anything else that's been helping you, please drop it in the comments. We love hearing everybody else's suggestions and knowing how else these kinds of things might be fixed. After all, no issue has just one solution, right? So let us know if this was helpful in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.